And by the way, there is actually a major push on on the island of Greenland right now to declare independence from Denmark. Not necessarily become part of the U.S., but they want to get out from under the oppression, I guess, of Denmark, which is just kind of funny to think of the Danes oppressing anybody.
It's like it's a tiny country.
Yeah. Let's go to Greenland, another place that is silly, but it's not inconsequential. Okay. So I want to present, or let me posit something here. Is it possible that Donald Trump is using his sort of demeanor that's seen as bombastic to draw attention to things that are actually quite reasonable and most people haven't thought of? I think that may be the situation with Greenland. When you understand the historical context, this is not new, the idea of the United States controlling Greenland or wanting to purchase a very important piece of land strategically or, frankly, just taking it. And Greenland is pivotal as we go into the 21st century here, continue, and we understand the threats that exist abroad and really the waterways. So it's very, very important. And a lot of people just thought it was absurd. Also, Denmark is full of assholes. So anything you can do
tiny country.
It's a tiny country.
A lot of assholes.
Exactly.
It's a stinky place.
It is a very stinky place. It's the kind of place that issues a travel warning to their citizens going to the United States when they basically live on an iceberg. So this morning, J.D. Vance actually left to join his wife in this Greenland visit, which has been met, by the way, with a lot of protests, and I don't know why, from the Greenland people. What do we call them? Greenlanders?
I don't know.
Yeah. Greenies.
Greenies?
Greenies.
There you go.
Sure.
You are nothing more than a dog breath treat. So let's just watch the video of J.D. Vance talking about it.
You know, there was so much excitement around Usha's visit to Greenland this Friday that I decided that I didn't want her to have all that fun by herself.
In his house,
so much fun in Greenland.
Some of our guardians in the Space Force on the northwest coast of Greenland, and also just check out what's going on with the security there of Greenland. Speaking for President Trump, we want to reinvigorate the security of the people of Greenland because we think it's important to protecting the security of the entire world. Unfortunately, leaders in both America and in Denmark, I think, ignored Greenland for far too long. That's been bad for Greenland. It's also been bad for the security of the entire world. We think we can take things in a different direction, so I'm going to go check it out.
By the way, it sounds very, very Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes.
Like, this is where they bake bread. Let's go check it out.
Sounds like an MTV show or something.
Somebody made J.D. Vance look like an idiot there, and they need to be fired. First off, it's not like she's having so much fun. I can't let her do it by herself.
Yeah,
that's a really. That's just.
I've always wanted to go to Greenland.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to Greenland, especially people that live in Greenland. They'll do anything to get away from Greenland, including committing suicide at the world's top rate.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get me the hell out of Greenland.
Well, you know who's
going to
be?
I have to die.
You know who's most upset about that is the Japanese.
Oh, that's true. They are trying.
Oh, we're no second place.
They're not even in the top 5. I wish you would step back from Greenland, my friend. We can come and take it over and you can die.
Yeah, that's fair. And by the way, the Danish prime minister, like we care, he's all mad. He's going, I have to say that it is unacceptable pressure being placed on Greenland and Denmark in the situation, and it is pressure that we will resist. Okay, fine. We won't wait up.
Good luck.
So Donald Trump first floated this idea of purchasing Greenland from Denmark in 2019. Okay. We'll get to why that's entirely reasonable. You may not know the history of Alaska and even, by the way, the history of Greenland. The Danish prime minister at that point in time called the idea absurd. And then, of course, President Trump doubled down, writing on Truth Social, for the purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. So that's absurd. Necessity. Hey, why are you repeating my words, but you're turning them into different words? Go screw yourself. You'll live on an iceberg. Here's another clip of Donald Trump saying this recently, that we do need to secure our interests in Greenland. And again, this is well within the bounds of something that any other nation would do throughout human history.
How far are you prepared to go on Greenland? You said this morning that the United States needs Greenland. How far are you prepared to go?
We need Greenland for national security.
Look at the bitch in the mask.
Security. So I think we'll go as far as we have to go. We need Greenland. And the world needs us to have Greenland, including Denmark. Denmark has to have us have Greenland. And, we'll see what happens. But if we don't have Greenland, we can't have great international security.
Right?
If you look at the
there you go.
ships outside of Greenland, China, Russia, places that we have to be there. If we're not there, we can't have national or international security. So I view it from a security standpoint. We have to be there.
And we're going to get to the meltdown over this very reasonable proposition from Donald Trump. But before that, I do believe we have him, Toolman. We actually have our on-the-ground correspondent. For those of you who are new, he's our on-the-ground, on-the-beat reporter, Thomas Finnegan, up in Greenland right now. All right, Finnegan, what have you been able to learn on the ground?
Hi, Stephen.
Hi. What have you learned in Greenland?
I think I made a mistake. I made a travel error. There's nothing green about this place.
No, actually, for once, Thomas, you're in the right place. Iceland is green. Greenland is icy. It's a thing.
I didn't pack for this.
Don't worry about it. What can you tell us about the possible Greenland deal? That's what we need to know.
I can't feel my legs. I think I have frostbite on my ears, and I'm pretty tired. I think I'll just lie down here for a bit.
No, Finnegan, don't. Finnegan, laying down on the ice it's not going to warm you. It'll make you colder. We need your report. Finnegan? Okay, Tim, just cut it. We'll check back in later.
Ugh.
You should build an igloo.
Yeah. He's not particularly handy. And he drinks a lot, so his hands are shaky. So it'd be
Smokes
pretty
a lot
tough.
too.
Yeah.
Like melt the ice.
Probably going to die.
We'll check back in with him. So the best part about this is the complete meltdown that you see in response to President Trump, not just from the Danish, but even Americans. As you can see from this montage, starting with this chick who looks like the best friend from the Wonder Years.
Oh my God! That's whoa! How does the Wonder Years kid have better teeth?
Well, by the way, he became Marilyn Manson. Remember that rumor? Here's the clip.
You know who they're sending to Greenland this administration?
Dentists?
Yes.
Sending the wife of the vice president. Perhaps she has a specialty in Greenland relations. I doubt it. This is colonialism by any other name.
She looks like she gives big
Shameful,
sloppy
it's
kisses.
Bullying. We are treating a NATO ally, which Denmark is,
That's
with
the
the worst
NGO
kind
guy.
of disrespect.
He's down at his palace in Florida talking about invading Greenland. What does that do for people who are concerned about affording health care?
I suspect the plan is they're hoping that Greenland has some protests, some ugliness, that they can then turn up the gain on this whole nonsense about taking Greenland.
A member of the European Parliament had this to say.
Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, off.
All right.
Okay, Denmark.
I didn't understand you.
Okay, Greenland, but we're taking your sharks. We are taking the Greenland shark.
What?
Those of you who don't know, the Greenland shark, it lives to be like 250 to 500 years old, 24 feet long. It has 6 gills.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm
care.
just saying it's untapped potential. What else are you going to use this shark for? Oh, that's a separate thing. As an aside, I don't know if you know this.
What?
There was a great white that decapitated a scallop diver in Mexico.
No way.
It's recirculating now. Yeah, just the head. Just the head. That shark was making a statement.
Is it on a pike?
Yeah. I wonder if the head just fell down. Now it's some hermit crab's new shell.
That would be a really cool.
He's just walking in.
You got to kiss the shark.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay. All right. Let's go back to Greenland.
The hell.
It's hard because nobody cares about Greenland. That's the thing. So it's easy to get, and it's Friday and we're tired.
Yeah.
But let me give you a few key facts here, the history of Greenland. So key fact number 1. Greenland is, and it always has been, a matter of national security as it relates to the United States. So since World War II, the U.S. increased their military presence, and they even established bases to try and secure Greenland during Nazi occupation of Denmark, because most of these European nations are pussies and they couldn't stand up to it. So the United States had to kind of step in and do their job. Then you have the Cold War. The U.S. built Camp Century to actually house nukes capable of reaching Russia. This goes to the close proximity geographically, why it's important. And now Greenland is actually home to, I want to make sure I pronounce this right, to U.S. Bidufik.
No.
Pidufik?
It's
the space base. But it reads like a naughty word.
A Pokemon.
Yes.
or racial slur.
And so we've known this historically, but really Greenland is actually pretty pivotal to us winning the race really for the Arctic against China and Russia. And actually former Trump NSA advisor Robert O'Brien pointed this out, and I want you to watch Rob speak actually about no wait, I don't think his name is Rob Arctic.
I don't think his name is Rob. Is his name Rob Arctic?
I'm trying to remember. Maybe I wrote a note.
Maybe there's two Robs.
The point is, none of it matters because you're going to watch him in an interview with a man who looks exactly like Mr. Yunioshi from Breakfast at Tiffany's. And let's play the actual clip.
President Trump's also talking actively about Greenland. What's the latest there?
Well, the latest is Greenland is a highway from the Arctic all the way to North America to the United States. It's strategically very important to the Arctic, which is going to be the critical battleground of the future, because as the climate gets warmer, the Arctic is going to be a pathway that maybe it cuts down on the usage of the Panama Canal. And the Russians and Chinese are all over the Arctic.
It's true. If it does get warmer, that ice will melt, which opens up a whole lot of possibilities for bad actors. It sounds like a job for...
My name is Freeze. Learn it well.
That's right.
Mr. Freeze.
You think you're getting through China? Ah!
Chill.
Chill.
Hey, Russia, there's a storm coming, baby. We do not know what is happening. We don't think they are taking us seriously. They send fictional character to stop us.
So China actually has attempted to invest in quite a bit of infrastructure in the Arctic, including rare earth mines, airports, some maritime stations. And unfortunately, we talked about this too. Remember at the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, we were like, China and Russia are not good bedfellows, but if the Western world plays this wrong, the real problem would be if they happen to become a sort of begrudging couple. And we're seeing some signs of that. China's been ramping up their cooperation with Russia all throughout the Arctic.
Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan called the size of the Chinese and Russian joint operation unprecedented. He said that the U.S. sent 4 Navy destroyer ships near the Aleutian Islands in response to those 11 Chinese and Russian warships near U.S. waters.
So, militarily, it's pretty important. And if you understand, too, Greenland, they have a lot of rare earth minerals, which would be pretty important for the United States. We actually don't have a ton of those. That's one thing that we sort of lack. So China has about 44 million tons of the world's rare earth reserves. We only have about 1.8 million tons. Greenland has 1.5 million, so almost as much as us in our entirety as a country. Also have a lot of energy reserves. They have 17.5 billion barrels of oil that we know of. 148.2 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. So taking this into account, in other words, if there happened to be a nation like this that was largely entirely defenseless, in the United States, for example, I don't know, replace us with the British Empire, or the Turks, the Ottomans, the Greeks, the Romans, Greenland doesn't exist. It's the United States.
Yeah.
Right? It's very, very important, and they wouldn't be able to stop, but we're the good guys, so we don't do that. That being said, something pretty important to note is, I guess, key fact number 3 here, all references, we make them publicly available. There's plenty of precedents for the idea of this expansion. So in the 1860s, Andrew Johnson, or at least his State Department, they talked about purchasing Greenland. And then in 46, the Truman administration offered to pay $100 million in gold to Denmark for the purchase.
They should have done that
of Greenland.
Been a good
what year was that?
46.
46.
That would have been a great thing for them. And in 46?
Yeah. That would have been great. And then you had John Nixon, a State Department official, wrote, the consensus among the group was that the territory was completely worthless to Denmark and indispensable to the safety of the United States. Yes. Because keep in mind, if the Russians and the Chinese, or even just the Russians, or even like just half the Chinese decide that they want to start acting up, the last person to do anything about it would be Denmark.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Why are your people so short? Oh no! Also, before we get to this, Mission Control, bring this up. This is one of the most fascinating stats to me, because all of these, and I know there's okay, if you want to say Norwegian, or if you want to say Swedish, what is Slav? I don't know the term that's often used for all of these nations. We sort of see them as a monolith. I get it. Iceland, Greenland, okay, they're fine, they're different. I don't care. You have a lot of strongmen. Good for you. But they often use these nations, and certainly Bernie Sanders, for their high quality of living. So they actually think they have a leg to stand on, going, you Americans, you don't have as good of a quality of life. One of the most fascinating statistics, you guys can pull it from an old Change My Mind doc that I prepared. It's true. Swedes, for example, and the Danes, they do have a higher standard of living in Denmark and in Sweden. Danes who then come to the United States, however, have like a 56% higher standard of living in the United States than in Denmark. Which tells you when you have a country that's the population of Rhode Island and there's kind of a monolithic culture and maybe work ethic, sure, they can make it work better there than a country of 340 million. But when you take those people and you transplant them in the United States, they do better here than their own people in their homeland. Because the United States is like gasoline on a fire. It just makes everything better. That's why people come here. Let's bring that up, Mission Control. Bring it up so we can give it to... That is one of those stats that to me is a checkmate for these countries over there. The United States, by the way, while we're going back to this, historically, we've purchased plenty of territories in land. So in 1803, we purchased the Louisiana. Louisiana. I say the Louisiana because I'm speaking like a Cajun. I don't know.
The Louisiana.
And by the way, we purchased it from France for only $15 million. Ça c'est bon!
They're like, thank God we get rid of Louisiana.
1854, there was a Gadsden purchase, Mexico, $10 million. And in 1867, we purchased Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. Something fascinating, I did a segment on this a while back, is if you read the newspapers during that period of time, the Russian newspapers were bitching about the government basically selling Alaska, saying, why would you do this? This was a pivotal piece of land. And the American newspapers were criticizing our government, saying, why would you purchase such a useless bit of land?
If you ask me, we fleeced Russia.
Yes, we definitely did.
Absolute for $15 million, or sorry, $7.2 million.
What is 7.2 in today's money?
I don't know, but we win.
Yes, we definitely win. Yeah,
we won that trade. Yeah,
whatever number you want to throw out there, we won. We won on that one.
That's the Yankees getting Babe Ruth from the Red Sox.
Just imagine being that Russian president, finding out how much oil is there. You get a piece of paper, you're like, what? Son of bitch. I guess also, by the way, we have to check back in before we go to Jeremy from the Quartering to talk about Wisconsin. We have him back on the line? We have Finnegan?
Maybe. I got something.
Let's go check. All right, Finnegan, now that you've had some time to warm up, what have you got?
Uh-oh.
He'll bounce back.
%59%. Finnish Americans.
What have I told you?
59. That's really close.
Yeah.
So
No, it's 55.
No, Danish is 55. Finnish is 59.
No, Finnish is 53.
It says 59 down here.
Oh, Finnish. Sorry, I was looking at the Swedes.
You're looking at Swedes.
Okay.
Admonish you.
So I was off by 1 percentage. I was off by 1 percentage point.
Not me. You got to admonish him.
You can admonish me.
Nah, he was close enough.
I don't think it's a
So anyway, so it goes back to this. Okay, Greenland, there's historical precedent. It's very important. Right. We understand that now. Contextually, this is not absurd. But is it even feasible? Right? Otherwise, you shouldn't float it if there's no way to do this. Here is the next key fact. For number 3, number 4. How we could actually control Greenland or how this could be done. So, most likely scenario, Greenland declares independence, right? And they vote to become a part of the United States. And by the way, there is actually a major push on the island of Greenland right now to declare independence from Denmark. Not necessarily become part of the U.S., but they want to get out from under the oppression, I guess, of Denmark, which is just kind of funny to think of the Danes oppressing anybody.
It's like it's a tiny country.
Yeah.
They get made fun of. That's the oppression.
So big.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't be the U.S., but they could, if they leave Denmark, I don't know how Greenland's going to protect themselves. They could form some kind of like association pact with the United States, similar to the Marshall Islands, something like that. The less likely, but still possible scenario is that the United States basically can make Denmark an offer that they couldn't refuse, right? So basically, Denmark right now would have final say over the transfer of Greenland to any other country.
We could buy them.
If they want to sell it for the right price, I don't like the way that they've been talking, so, the price just went down and they should take it. The least likely scenario, and by this I mean almost no possibility, but it would be funny, is if the United States just takes over Greenland by force.
How much force?
Yeah,
not a lot.
It wouldn't need to be a lot. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like a pawing jab. You're just feeling it out.
Come on, guys. Don't make me do this.
Like a fixed fight, a phantom punch. You just go in and they just, overact.
And then throw some money down to them.
Here, surrender.
You're hit like a Mack truck. Because they don't want to take any more pain. So it's very, very unlikely. But I do appreciate that President Trump, He always leaves this option on the table, like my father when I was acting up with the wooden spoon. It was there. He rarely used it. Sometimes he did, but very, very rarely, but I knew it was there. And so Donald Trump has made it clear, we'll see. Maybe military.
Let's start, if we could, with your references to Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is?
No.
Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians
Show your
to hold
cards.
the vote? What is the strategy?
I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two.
Yeah, and why would you?
Mr. President, can you show us all your cards right now?
Yeah.
So I can get an exclusive story?
Yes. It'd be like going into a store or going into which, by the way, I feel like when I go to shopping malls now, I feel like I'm with some third world barker in the middle of it. It'd be like going in with some haggling, kiosk and just showing them every bill you have in your wallet before negotiating a price. Why would you do it? And in some instances, if they're trying to rip you off, you beat them up. That's what we do with Greenland. How about we pay nothing and we just take it?
We're already there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly joking. Hey, if you like this video, you can comment below. We always appreciate your feedback. Or click one of these, which will be similar as far as rebuttals, claims, truths. Maybe it changed my mind. Or sometimes we talk about the difference between men and women, how dogs are different from cats, airline food. No punchline, just premises, because this is the internet in the 21st damn century.